Welcome to this video presentation on PhoneMaster 6. The content of this video is most suitable for anybody who's used a previous version of PhoneMaster, and in this presentation we'll be concentrating on the new features in PhoneMaster version 6. Let's start by looking at the telephone administration screen in PhoneMaster. This is where we make all our moves, adds and changes on individual telephones. The first feature we look at is the quick search box, which we've added to the top right hand side of the screen, and we'll use this for finding telephones. If I click on the box and just hit enter, you'll see that it pulls back a full list of all telephones programmed on the system, and I can click on any individual telephone and it will show you the features configured on that particular telephone. If, for example, I wanted to search by name, I just type in the name. Let's say I search for Mike, hit enter. It'll pull back any telephone who has a first or last name of Mike, and I just select Mike Romero there for the list. You see that pulls back the features on Mike's telephone. If I want to expand out that list, the features on that list, I just click the button, expansion button at the top there, and the columns here that appear, name, number, department, TN, type, status, you can reorder those columns as you see fit. For example, if I want a department to appear first and maybe terminal number, for example, I can shift those around. Okay, so let's just put it back, name and department, extension number, leave it that way, and I'll shrink it back down. And I search by Mike there. If I wanted to, let's see, Mike's extension number is 3026. If I wanted to put in 3026, you'll see that pulls back. Or if we just put 302, it'll pull back any extension number that starts with 302. Or if I see, let's see, Mike's department is marketing, so put marketing in, hit enter, you'll see it pulls back the full list of telephones in the marketing department. And you notice that I don't have to specify what search field I'm using. I just enter the information in there and PhoneMaster will search all fields. Now I'd just like to say something about the new toolbar in PhoneMaster 6. You'll notice across the top of the screen we have a toolbar with buttons new, save, cancel, delete, etc. Those buttons used to be actually on the screen and they took up valuable real estate on the screen, so we moved them all up into a common toolbar, so you know where to find them easily and they're not in different places on different screens. We've also added some functionality to the right-click event in various boxes on the screen. And if I, for example, go into the telephone list here and select Mike Romero's telephone, and I right-click there, I'm offered the menu of options there. I can delete the telephone, I can copy it and paste it onto another spare terminal number, for example, or I could synchronize that telephone, which will take back the latest image of the telephone from the actual telephone system itself and recreate it in the local database. I could do a quick print and let's just click that one and see. It opens up a file and transfers the features from Mike's telephone into a flat file, so you can save that or print it out or do what you want from there. Just close that one off, right click again, bring up the menu. The advanced search, if you remember in previous versions of PhoneMaster, you could search a telephone by individual features on a telephone or a key features or parameters, and I just click that there, that full range of features there. So some general filters, class of service features, parameters like network class of server and hunt number, etc. There are parameters. Keys, you can search for the keys on the set. So that full range of features is still there on the advanced button. When you right click the menu option there, the advanced feature search. In previous versions of PhoneMaster, we had 5 separate screens for telephone administration. One for creating new telephones, for making changes in existing telephones, for making group changes, telephone templates, and for move swap telephones. We've amalgamated all 5 screens into one screen so you don't have to hop between screens now. So let's just take a look at some of those there. For example, if I want to move a telephone onto a spare terminal number, I'll just take one off the list here and drag it down and drop it onto a spare terminal number to say, are you sure you want to move it? I'm going to do exactly the same and hold the control key down as I'm dropping it onto the spare terminal number, and that will copy it as opposed to moving it. Group telephones, if I want to create a group of telephones, I just expand the group box at the bottom of the screen here, and I just select whatever telephones I want to put into a group. Just select a bunch of them there, for example, and drag them and drop them down into the group box, and it will say, are you sure you want to create a group of 7 telephones? Click yes, just call it my group, for example. And now we can select that group and make a change to that group of telephones as if it's a single telephone, and it'll upload the changes to each telephone in turn. And that's how easy it is to create a group of telephones. To create a template from an existing telephone, just simply select the telephone and right click on it, and you see at the bottom there's an option to create template, and that will add it to the template box at the bottom of the screen, and you can use that template then when you're creating new telephones, and it will copy the features from that existing telephone onto a template, and that can be used for creating new telephones. One of the challenges you face as a telephone system administrator is trying to distinguish between very similar sounding lists of telephone features. For example, if we look at the key features list here, you see there's a long list of features, and many of them sound the same. We've tried to give you a little bit of help by adding a tooltip to the hover function. So if I select to hover over any of the features in the key features, for example, it'll tell you what that feature does. The same way down here, the class of service features, if I just scroll down to the list, you'll see there's a lot of features. Some of them sound the same, and if you just hover over any one of them, it'll give you a brief description of what exactly that feature does. Now I want to talk a little bit about the workspace stack, which is a new feature in PhoneMaster 6, and you'll find it at the top of the screen just under the toolbar. The workspace stacks allows us to temporarily park work that telephones that we're working on it, move on to other work, and then go back, and whatever changes we have been in the process of making will be saved on the workspace stack so we can recall them. For example, if I pick a telephone from the list here, let's just pick any telephone. Let's find one with a few features on key features. So 1120 telephone, okay. So let's take this one here. And for example, if I want to put an auto dial key, just like the standard keys, just take off that one that makes it busy key and make it an auto dial key. And I get distracted and I need to go off and do something else in PhoneMaster. I can just add that to the stack, and you'll see that it adds that item up there. And when I hover over it, you'll see that I get an image of the telephone as it was at the time. I can then go off and make change to another set. Let's just do exactly the same thing there. And this time I'll add it onto key 1 and I'll pop that onto the stack. Now you'll notice I have two items on the workspace stack, and if I select another telephone just to clear that, you notice now I can now go back to any of the items on the workspace stack, hover over it, it'll tell you what the TN was, give you a quick look at a view of what the telephone change was at the time. And if I click on either of those items there, you'll see that it recalls the work in progress that's set. And you can just delete the item from the stack then whenever you're finished with it. So it allows you to move between a number of different telephones or group changes or any other thing you're working on. Just pop them onto the workspace stack, do whatever you want to do in the meantime, and then go back to take it up where you left off. Another new feature in PhoneMaster 6 is the pickup group administration screen, which we've added, and allows you to configure pickup groups, call pickup groups, which allows if a call is ringing on a telephone other than your telephone, you can use call pickup features to pick up that call without leaving your desk and going over to the other telephone. And in order for that to happen, you must be in the same pickup group as the telephone that's ringing. And in previous versions of PhoneMaster, you couldn't see what groups people were in other than looking at individual telephones. So we've added an administration screen which will allow you to see each pickup group and see which telephones are in that pickup group, and you can add members and take group members out of it. For example, if I look at group member 1 here, you see that there are 5 telephones in it. Just pick another one, say group number 2. There's only 1 member in that. If I wanted to add members in that, I can just go over to the quick search button here, return, it'll pull back all telephones, and I can pick just a random group of telephones and just drag them across, drop them into that group, and it will now add them to that group. When I click save, it will go in and change the ringing number pickup group of each telephone in that group, so that they're all in pickup group number 2. Another new screen we've added to PhoneMaster 6 is the faceplate screen, and this gives you a graphical representation of the cards in your system. Some of those cards are physical, such as the digital line cards and analog line cards, and there are some system cards as well, and other cards are virtual, such as the IP cards we use for programming IP telephones. And if I just select, for example, an IP card, you'll see that down the bottom right hand part of the screen there, you get a full list of all the units programmed on that particular card. And I could select a digital line card, and that will give you the digital feature sets programmed on that card, or an analog card, 500 sets programmed on that card. And you'll see there's some summary information about the card there too. This card, for example, has 3 units used, and it has 13 spare units. I can also use the rubber band function if I want to select more than one card. Let me just take down the bottom of your screen here, if I select those 5 cards, 2 spare cards and 3 cards selected, and in the list at the bottom there, you'll see I have a full list of all the units programmed on those 3 cards. So and the summary information tells me that there's 41 units used and 19 spare on those 3 cards and 2 spare slots. If I select an individual card, I can perform some maintenance functions on that by right clicking on the card, and you see I can get the status of the card, enable or disable the card. So let's just have a look at one of the physical cards, a digital line card, and get the status of that card. You see that notice that it switches over to the monitor and it logs into the system, gets the status of that card, and brings up a graphical representation then of the units in that card. And you can see that the any units with a green light are enabled, which means that the units are fine, and a red light means that the unit is disabled. And I can go into any individual unit. For example, if I pick unit 2, which is disabled there, and if I right click on that, I get the option to enable it or get the status of that unit or disable it. So if I want to enable that unit, I just click enable and it'll go back in, log back into the telephone system and enable that unit for me. And there you go. And now all cards are enabled. And that's the faceplate screen in PhoneMaster. For those of you with more than one telephone system in your network, you'll know that PhoneMaster is a multi-site administration tool, and you can administer all your sites from one single interface. In previous versions of PhoneMaster, to switch between sites, you had to open the site screen, select your site from the site list, click OK, and close the site screen. In PhoneMaster 6, it's much easier. We have a site list box at the top right hand side of the toolbar, and you simply drop down that list box and select the site you want to move to. And it will close the existing database and open the database for the new site you've selected. And you can just go into the quick search box, hit return, and it'll pull back the telephones on that new site. And then you can select any telephone and make changes. You might have noticed when I drop down the site list box that some of the sites are blue and some of the sites are red. That's because the blue sites are legacy Nortel systems, or CS1000, or Avaya Blue systems we now call them. And the red sites are Avaya Communications Manager sites, or Avaya Red sites. And PhoneMaster is not only multi-site, it's a multi-platform tool, and PhoneMaster 6 can now administer telephones on Communications Manager sites as well. And to switch between them, again, it's as simple as selecting a red site. You can go between red and blue sites, and you'll see there, if I just click return, it'll pull back the telephones, and you'll see that it's exactly the same interface. Some of the feature names are slightly different from between blue and red systems, but the overall interface, look and feel, drag and drop functionality is exactly the same as it is for the Avaya Blue sites. You can also migrate. If I go back to one of my Avaya Blue sites, if I select a telephone, let me see, let's take one of these telephones. And if I right click on that telephone, I'd see that on the list here I have a migrate to, and it'll offer me all the other sites except the site that I'm working on at the moment. It'll offer me the other sites to migrate that telephone, which means that it will reprogram that telephone on a different site for you, and it will do cross-platform migration. So it will take an Avaya Blue or a Nortel telephone and recreate it on an Avaya Red or a Communications Manager site. And you can do the entire system if you want to select all telephones, and it'll migrate them. There is a migration screen as well in PhoneMaster 6, which is a little bit more complex. It gives you a migration matrix for translating features, which are slightly different from one system to the other, but you can do the entire migration. So if you're moving from Avaya Blue to Avaya Red, give PhoneMaster a call and we'll tell you how you migrate the systems, or we'll do it for you using PhoneMaster. One last feature to look in PhoneMaster 6 now. If you have PhoneWare's call accounting product, Call Bill, you know that PhoneMaster and Call Bill are fully integrated, so that if you make any changes to identifiers in one product, they're automatically replicated in the other product. We've taken integration to a new level in PhoneMaster 6, and we've actually given you access to the call records from within PhoneMaster. So if I click on the call details tab here, I just click run, you see that it pulls back the previous 10 calls made for this individual telephone. Or I could go back and say, give me the previous last 30 records. I could do summary reports, and there's one or two different types of reports there. But it saves you leaving the administration tool if you want a quick snapshot of the usage of this telephone. You don't have to even go into the call accounting product. You can do it from within the administration tool, PhoneMaster. Thank you for watching this short presentation on PhoneMaster 6. If you'd like any further information, you can find it on our website at www.phoneware.ie, or you can contact us at info@phoneware.ie. Thank you.